The headlines are breaking. Immediate reports indicate a crisis. Details are emerging. This situation is unprecedented.
Chapter 4. The Static. The Architecture of the Noise. If the war rooms were the brain of the operation, the media was the central nervous system, sending jolts of high-voltage electricity across the country to ensure the public remained in a constant state of twitching, caffeinated agitation. By Tuesday morning, the city didn't just feel divided. It felt like it was vibrating. The quote-unquote art of outrage from Trump and the quote-unquote architect of hope from No Drama had collided in the atmosphere like two massive weather fronts, creating a low-frequency hum of anxiety that played out on every smartphone, television, and gas station pump screen in America. The High Ground. DNN headquarters. At the DNN studios, the lighting was a cool, clinical blue, the color of authority and calm. Ron Lime, the network's veteran anchor, sat in a makeup chair while a stylist applied a layer of matte powder to his forehead. Lime was the face of quote-unquote high-minded concern. His job was to look deeply, almost physically troubled by the state of the world while maintaining a salary that kept him comfortably insulated from it. We're leading with the predatory clip again, his producer barked through the IFB earpiece. Then we pivot to No Drama's rally. We're framing it as, quote-unquote, the soul of the nation versus the ego of the empire. It's gold, Ron. The focus groups aren't showing high anxiety scores. Keep them there. Lime nodded, practicing his concerned squint in the monitor. When the red light flared, his voice was a smooth, somber melody. Good evening. Tonight we look at a nation at the crossroads. On one side, a rhetoric of division and cold corporate greed that threatens the very fabric of our shared democracy. On the other, a flicker of hope, a great repair that promises to mend what is broken. But in an era of predators, can hope survive the fire of outrage? We turn now to our panel of experts to discuss why one candidate wants to build a home, while the other wants to build a monument to himself. Every word was a needle, carefully threaded to make the viewer feel that the world was ending, and that staying tuned was the only way to witness the autopsy. The Fire Pit, Wolf News headquarters. Across town, the lighting was a hot, aggressive red, the color of a forge or a forest fire. John Vanity didn't need a makeup artist to make him look flush. His own curated fury did the work for him. Vanity was the voice of the populist fire, a man who spoke in exclamation points and lived for the gotcha moment that would go viral by midnight. They're calling him a predator, folks, Vanity shouted, his face inches from the lens. He slammed a hand onto the desk, the sound echoing like a gunshot. The elites in their ivory towers, the people who haven't stepped foot in a grocery store in 20 years, are clutching their pearls because Donald Trump had the audacity to tell the truth. They hate him because he sees the city for what it is. A mess that needs a man with a backbone, not a man with a cashmere sweater and a book of poems. He played a 5-second clip of No Drama speaking about community gardens. Vanity scoffed, a sound of pure, practiced derision that he had spent years perfecting. The Great Repair? More like the Great Reset. They want to quote unquote, repair your bank account by emptying it into the pockets of their cronies. They want to, quote unquote, repair your neighborhood by telling you what kind of car you can drive and what you're allowed to say at the dinner table. Trump isn't a predator. He's the sheepdog. And the wolves are the ones wearing the hope buttons. The architecture of the noise. Between these two extremes lay the static, the blurred gray space where objective truth went to die. It wasn't just about the news anchors. It was the entire ecosystem. In airports, waiting rooms, and neighborhood bars, the screens were split. On the left, Lime spoke of decency and structural integrity. On the right, Vanity spoke of freedom and raw strength. The two broadcasts never touched. They were like two separate languages being yelled at the same person simultaneously. In his office, Senator Vane watched both feeds on a silent wall of monitors. He noticed how the DNN scroll and the Wolf News scroll used the same exact font size and the same urgent, quote-unquote, breaking news chime. It was a symphony of discord, perfectly synchronized. In his loft, Senator Thorne noticed something even more subtle. Both networks went to commercial at the exact same second. Both feature ads for the same high-priced pharmaceuticals for anxiety and the same luxury SUVs designed to, quote-unquote, escape the city. The sponsors didn't care which wing the viewers supported, as long as they were scared enough to buy something and feel safe. The media wasn't reporting on a war. They were the ammunition manufacturers. The more the two sides fought, the more the quote-unquote static grew, drowning out the few voices suggesting that the two wings might be attached to the same body. The public sat in the middle, their thumbs scrolling until their joints ached, their hearts racing in a state of permanent, quote-unquote, fight or flight. They were completely unaware that the noise they were hearing wasn't the sound of a debate. It was the sound of the door being locked from the outside while the house was still standing. The bird was indeed in the air, and as long as the static kept the passengers looking at the screens, nobody would notice who was actually in the cockpit. That is the end of Chapter 4, The Architecture of the Noise. Stay tuned.